We are ready to begin. Let's call this meeting to order and thank you all for coming. First item of business is our emergency closure.
Are we streaming also, or are we live anywhere?
Yes,
Okay,
live.
cool. Okay, perfect. Make sure.
So, so we got a call yesterday from Trinity Methodist about the construction and the work that is being done near their location. And that it would be next to impossible for us to be able to use it as a polling location. So you can see just from the few photos that I've provided, all of the work that they're doing. Everything, the parking lot is completely tore off. The street is closed beside it. And so so the church would be this way. Yeah. So this would be across from the church and this street is closed.
So this is blocked to everything except for local traffic.
Yeah, and to get in their neighborhood. And then we talked to the superintendent or the construction manager. Their plans are next Monday and Tuesday, they're gonna be asphalting. They're gonna be doing all of that. And they still will have all of the heavy truck equipment, all of that. So even if we were to try and figure out a way to make it ADA compliant, I don't think we would find parking, and I think there's too many
Confusion
obstacles
with it.
And I've already started receiving phone calls even before I had sent out a message for the meeting. Where do I vote? My polling location is under construction.
Yeah.
So I know that I just don't see how we can use it on election day.
So I think people have asked me, hearing about this, why are we just figuring this out? Like they've been doing construction for a while. Were they supposed to be done with it, or, what's kind of the reason behind all that?
So we called and set our polling locations back in August, September. At that point, there wasn't anything going on.
They weren't doing any construction. then?
Not like this, no, at all.
The construction is being done.
By the
roads
city.
By the city.
Yes. So at that point, they weren't close to where we were at.
And the
we-
church didn't say anything about, it's gonna be all tore up or anything like
And
that.
I don't know that the church would have necessarily known up until
The timing of
the
it.
timing of it. So, yeah. So it's hard for us when you have to select polling locations so early to kind of predict
Sure.
what is going to be happening around those. When we closed Javon, it just so happened that they had started construction when we were able to choose polling locations. This is not the case, unfortunately, with this. So, yeah.
So this was being used, supposed to be used, this week
Election.
and election day or just.
Election day, it is only an election day site. Yes.
So whoever called about the construction was looking ahead.
Yeah, it was voters who were saying, hey, my polling place, I don't think we can have access to it. And so yesterday too, what alerted us to it, because none of us drive by
yeah,
here
sure.
on our way to work, and it's not a site that we deliver early.
Yeah.
The food bank that they have there could not get in
Yeah.
to set up the food bank. And that's when the church called to let us know that there's going to be an
Yeah.
issue. And we went and looked and observed.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, based on the photos, there's no way. Open it as a polling location. It's a gravel parking lot. There's curbs. There's no parking. It's not ADA accessible. The road is closed next to it. So, I mean, it's a good location for where it's located.
Once
and having
it's all built up
space.
now.
Yeah, it would be even better when
It
there's a
will.
nice sidewalk
Yeah.
next to it, for sure. So what are our alternate locations that we could open instead of this?
All right, so there are, this first map that you see is the precincts, in that area. Now, I know we do vote centers, but I also recognize that voters typically vote at the areas where they've always voted. So this precinct 13 at the top and precinct 34 have traditionally been the precincts that vote at Trinity Methodist.
And this is a lot of walkers, I think or maybe not a lot.
Maybe
but
not, but the bus.
It's
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah,
I know.
oh, totally.
It's
for the
right in a
neighborhood.
residential area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is the,
Completely.
Everything
So
is
this
close.
is Trinity
Yeah, I know,
Methodist
which
right
is not the case with all of them.
No,
so
true.
this being the,
That's Trinity. The little yellow is Trinity Methodist in the middle. So this area, like I said, 13 and 34 have traditionally been the two sites that vote at Trinity Methodist, which is the middle yellow square that you see.
Oh, yeah, I see, okay,
Okay.
this is helpful.
Yeah, and then, we have three options, and on this map, you can't see the third option. The first option would be the yellow square up on the left-hand side. This would be the county extension office. They are more than happy to have us. We visited with them yesterday. They have the space, they have the parking, they're ADA. There is also a university bus line that goes there as well. That would be option one, and you'll see I've got a map that shows you it's 1.2 miles from the site. Now, we looked at what would be closer. There was one facility that used to be a church, it was right here. We stopped in to visit that site, and they're no longer a church, but they're kind of a mission-based group, and they weren't able to host us. So we looked in this area right here to try and find an alternative location. And of course, we went to the Washington County Extension Office. They were more than happy to help us. These two facilities, the Don Tyson and the Whitaker building, which is right there on the road. We thought we might be able to be in there, but they are hosting a huge poultry something, and they are completely booked out and have no space for us. And even the Washington County Fairgrounds, their big insect festival is going on. So,
well, I guess that.
you did, no, now you haven't missed
Oh, I
it.
haven't
If you can go on election day. You could go on election day to that. So that is option one. It has the space, it has the parking. They're more than willing to host us. And it is 1.2 miles away. Now,
Okay.
option two would be the Veteran Services, which is on North Street.
Okay.
Now, it is the yellow dot on the precinct map just right above where it says JP District 11. Okay. That site would be located in precinct 5, and that precinct 5 has always traditionally voted at Central United Methodist. It is on North Street, and you'll see that it is about 1.3 miles away as well. Does not have as good of parking, and the space inside is not as big. But it is available for us
Yeah.
as well. So, we did, look at, there was a church on St. James, it's behind the gas station. I don't know if
That's
it's on here.
Leverett.
Yeah, when we stopped by there, they were like, you have to email us. With the time constraint, I was like, we have to have a place that is like willing to meet with us. And they were like, you're gonna have to email us and all of this. And I was like,
Go
I
through the
can't
whole
wait.
process.
I can't wait for an answer.
Yeah.
So I needed places that I could go in face to face
Yeah.
and visit with, and they could give me an immediate answer. So of course, this is, the Veteran Services is a county building. And so I met with the director of the Veteran Services, and obviously we could use their space if that was an option. The third option is your third map, and like I said, it's not on here, but it would be to send the voters to Sang. Sang Avenue, Church is
The existing site.
is an existing site. It's 1.2 miles away from Trinity Methodist. It is a gymnasium. It is a much bigger location. We would be able to put all the machines that we have from Trinity Methodist into that site. So those would be the three
It's
options.
located. This is south of.
Yes, it is. It's located on Stang, so they would go up to, so right here, they would turn on this road right here, which is Dean Solomon. And then they would come down here to Stang Avenue.
Solomon's still under construction.
It is under construction too, yeah, and, yeah, so it's, they might have to actually access Stang by going to, what is whatever North Street becomes when it goes this way. So they might actually have to come down and then over and up.
So option 3 is basically to close Trinity Methodist and just let voters vote at the existing location.
Yes.
But if we choose one of the first 2 options, we could open a new location, replace it, and then they can still vote saying if they want.
Oh, absolutely. They can vote anywhere they
Okay,
want.
yeah.
But by opening one of the other 2 sites, it does give voters an opportunity to go there. That polling location, it wavers in the turnout. I looked in 2022, they had about 800 voters that voted. Of course, in a non-presidential election year, voters tend to vote more on election day than they do early. And then in 2020, they had about 600 voters. Any of the sites that are currently around this, such as Stang, such as Central United Methodist, would be able to absorb the extra voters. But, we have a crew, we have the equipment.
Yeah,
I think opening an alternative space would, would service too.
definitely makes sense. I think the
Yeah.
only issues with these options, in my opinion, is neither of them, I mean, neither are ideal. They're not in the residential
Right.
area where, Trinity Methodist is. And I get it. It's just, circumstances happen.
Yeah,
And we have to roll with it and make the best decision we can. But I'm just voicing that it's unfortunate, right? It's not
Right, and they're-
ideal
and
for
they're
people
kind
who
of-
are able to walk the poles.
circuitous to get to these other places.
Yeah.
There is, like I said, the bus route
Oh, right. Yeah,
does
that goes over
run
to-
over to the extension office.
That's
Because in front of the extension office, there's other university facilities. There's the University Museum, and then, of course, Pauline Whitaker, which is that, location where the poultry show or whatever is gonna be. So it does have access to the bus routes
Yeah.
for those students who are university students.
I mean,
Which one of these 2, we're talking about accessibility, is either one of them more accessible if someone ends up here and they've got to see a sign and they've got to turn around and go somewhere? Is either one of them easier to get to?
So if I was driving down the road and I saw the sign, it would be easier to go to the extension office, because otherwise I would have to find this road, because this road's gonna be blocked.
well, yeah, unless you're going this
Unless
way,
you're going this
and then
way,
it's easier to just hit north. and
So it just
That's
kind
fair,
of,
move over. I think my only concern with extension office, it's out there, nobody knows where it is. I mean, frankly, maybe some people,
I'm gonna say it's become a lot more of a centralized place that people, I'm part of the extension. So unfortunately, you got me. But, it's become a place where more people know about it with 4-H and all of the stuff that we do that involves Tyson and all of those farm areas. It's become a lot more younger people,
Mhm.
not just an older generation, but, I think that it's easy to find. I mean, it's right there by Sam's. Like, it's just, Sam's Club's right down the road. I do know-
for people, I mean, if I'm in my car and I'm
General
driving out
public,
there.
yes, you don't
yeah.
know that it's back there.
But,
Yes.
if people have trouble I get it, there's a bus route, but still, I think you know.
And I
that's
will-
when they Take the bus out there
It's
north,
the fairgrounds.
The
Yeah, it's right
Veterans
across the street from the
is
fairgrounds.
closer on north.
It
you know,
is,
It's
it-
right more in the mix of everything.
It's much more congested, I will say
Yeah.
that, turning in and out, and
That's-
the parking
that's
is not
true.
as great. Now, I will tell you too, when we drove out to the extension office, I kept thinking we were gonna drive a lot further than we did,
Mhm.
and when Lacey said we're turning, I was like, oh, it's,
The fairgrounds sits right here. The extension office is literally right across the street from the fairgrounds. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, no, I know where it is. I mean, I see where it is on the map. I'm just saying there's no residential out there. and
Right,
It's out there. So, let me ask a few other ideas here. Any way we could split the crew, the equipment, and open both of them? They're both gonna be small. Both gonna be smaller than Trinity Methodist. I mean, it's not gonna have very many numbers if we're just giving notice to people now. Any way we could do that?
I don't know. They have a crew of 9, and that would be splitting it pretty tight, 5 and 4. But then you'd have to have a supervisor.
Anybody's assistant supervisor ready to step up in the crew?
Don't know. I would be hesitant to do that out of that crew only because this group of voters that typically vote at Trinity Methodist all have address changes and are not registered to vote. For the 2022 election, they did over 80 provisionals for voters who because they're college students.
Is it because it's mostly college students?
Yeah.
Is there any way we could open the, alumni center on election day? That's on campus. I mean, that's not maybe the best for other voters there, up in that area, but you know what I mean? If it's a lot of college students.
I mean, we could definitely check with the alumni center. I do know that when we had it open for 3 days of early voting, we didn't have as many voters who voted there as we did when we were at Bedwell. Of course, when we were at Bedwell, we only did about 300 a day when we were there for early voting. So it wasn't
People
as,
maybe didn't realize.
that, I think that
As
it's,
much as Bud Walton.
yeah, I think it's a little bit harder to find, and especially if you are the residential here.
Yeah.
If they could just as easily go to Sane. Rather than trying to come down and go to alumni.
There's also classes held in that Don Tyson right in front of the extension office. There's a Don Tyson building that's right off the road. And there's classes held in there. There was quite a few-
University
yeah,
classes?
Yeah, there was quite a few students when we tried to get that yesterday.
Yeah, we went in that side, that place was really
That would be
nice,
phenomenal because it's right off the street.
Yeah.
Mhm.
but it was not available.
If you were coming this way and you saw the sign, these look like main, road, keep going and then this is still open here around.
This part will be open
Yeah,
right here. This part will be closed.
right. You can't turn
Right,
in front of the
Mhm.
church there.
Yeah.
But you could just go right past it and
Well-
loop around.
yeah, you could,
Anyway, I would be in favor of opening one of these. I'm just trying to decide which one.
Yes.
Either open one or, not open any, one of the other.
Give us a comparison, some specifics about how these two shake out. I mean, you've said the extension is the better facility with a better parking lot.
so as always with polling locations, sometimes you get great facilities, but the access to it is not, it's like you can't have everything. So the extension, I feel like has easier parking and the site inside of it is a little bit larger.
You said more parking too.
Yeah, it tends to have more parking. At the veteran services, it has parking, it's ADA compliant, all of that. The site inside of it where we would be is smaller than where we would be at the extension office and where they would have been at Trinity Methodist. It's a little bit more congested because they also share the parking lot with the hospital, with the VA. And they oftentimes have students, because the director said this yesterday, they often have times where university students who aren't supposed to park in that parking lot, park in it and everything like that. So, I mean, but it has parking, and it is ADA compliant. It's just that access in and off of North is congested, but the same thing with this too, with the extension office, you
That
know,
main
getting
street.
that main street, if you're turning across traffic,
Mhm.
you may wait. I think our vote here signs will be easier to see going to the extension office
Mhm.
versus going up North Street because there's just so much stuff on North Street.
And you want to be able to drive safely as well.
So, but I mean,
I get it, the extension office is a better location for our poll workers and easier parking and all that. But I think my problem with it is that it's totally car centric, you know,
Yeah.
let's be honest, like,
Yeah.
not many people are gonna take the bus up to go vote, you know, it's a good idea and it's good to have the option, but I don't think a whole lot of people are gonna do that. So it sounds like a great location for people who are voting in a car. I mean,
Yeah.
really, it sounds like the better location if that's the
Right.
case, but I think question is, who are we serving, you know, with this vote center, and how many people aren't gonna have cars, or gonna be students on campus who don't have cars and walking or taking a bike or, you know, that type of thing. I feel like for those reasons, to me at least, the Veterans Center seems like a better option. It's just closer in the mix of Fayetteville and, you know, it gives people a shot at least to give up there who don't have a car. So I kind of feel like that's the question is who are we really serving
right.
with the location?
Yeah.
Now, I think that if we, obviously moving out of Trinity Methodist, we're going to force both of these groups to drive. Because if you're in this bottom part of 34, you were probably already driving to begin with. It's these voters that were centrally around Trinity Methodist that would have been walking. But when you look how 34 kind of drops down, those people were probably driving, but they would drive right past North. I mean, they would drive to North to go up to the veteran services.
Well, I think maybe,
Do you have a recommendation?
You know, I not to have road construction.
yeah, really.
Good job.
Except the roads,
Yeah, second option.
roads are looking so good.
So, you know, I think that no matter how we do this,
It's gonna.
it's going to be confusing for voters because we're closing a polling location. I just don't know. I think when I look at this is one of the reasons I pulled this precinct map,
Mhm.
because I wanted to see where the voters lived that were voting traditionally at the polling location. And for these voters in this bottom half of 34,
Right.
the veteran services would be a great location. For the voters in 13, the extension office
Right.
would be better. Now,
I mean, there's a lot of apartment
13,
complexes in 13, you know, there are a lot of
13
people
has
that have cars.
1,665 voters. This is in September. I grabbed this morning before I came in. And then 34 has 1,172. So there's more voters in that 13, but they're all concentrated, Max is right, they're all concentrated
Mhm.
in that area. And you know, they can,
Which apartments.
yeah, it is.
Not to distract here, but how will we provide notice to all the voters?
So that's gonna be a little bit trickier for us because we'll put a sign out, obviously, but in the mix of all that construction.
Oh, how
How
are
are
you
they
gonna
gonna
see
see
a
it?
They're
sign?
gonna have
Yeah.
to be huge signs.
Yeah.
Right, right,
You
and
know,
I don't know that, yeah, I don't know
I mean-
how, yeah, so.
There's not time to, I mean, mail, typically you're supposed to
Yeah,
send mail, but
if it was 15 days before the election,
that
we
it?
would do that, but at this point, there's
it
no
wouldn't,
way.
it wouldn't reach people the way the
It
mail's
wouldn't.
sorted.
It wouldn't, so we'll have to rely on the media to help us spread the word to those voters. A sign will be posted, but like I said, with the construction there, that's gonna be so hard for people.
Can we try to
see.
make it a huge sign? Can we
If
try
I-
to get a big sign, a couple big signs to put on
I
the
can,
grave
I can
side?
check with fast signs to see, but we'll also be running into, the construction where
Yeah.
can we place it? Cause you see how everything is, you know,
Yeah.
all the stuff we're doing, we're gonna run into.
And without being a traffic hazard.
Right, so we'll run into a little bit of problem there, but we definitely can look, to see about ordering a larger sign. So,
I feel like I'm inclined, you can probably tell, for the veterans office.
Well, it looks like the Veterans Office
Based on, you know,
is more, like you say, concentric with the population and where all the houses are and everything. So I would be. I'd be fine with that. It does make it as good of a location in a lot of ways. And the one thing I worry about the most is if students are parking there and they do take up too much parking, that can
well,
be problematic.
when we did talk to the director, they set appointments for the veterans. They only have certain days where they do walk-ins. So on Tuesday, they only had one appointment, that day, and they would be able to reschedule it. So we would not be interfering with veterans who are
good.
just going to drop by,
cool.
for a walk-in. So we did visit with them
That
about
was my
that.
concern. I mean, we don't want, if we're using the parking lot, we don't want to be using spaces that veterans.
Right, and so,
Seems to me they have a couple of parking spaces marked for visiting veterans.
well, they do, but they're actually gonna close their office on election day.
Yeah.
So the whole facility would just be us, and there would be no veterans appointments
Mhm.
that day, but they only had one scheduled, so we're not,
Oh, yeah,
so,
that's cool.
so, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good.
that's great.
So, and the director said he would visit with that individual to reschedule,
Okay,
so.
okay.
We
Well,
may have an answer.
I entertain a motion, if you want one.
I'll make a motion to close Trinity Methodist and open the Veteran Services location as an election day vote center.
And also,
With, that would be with the same hours that we have at the,
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
7:30 to
Okay.
7:30, yes.
okay. And they're good with those hours.
Yes, I visited, they will give us a key, and all of that to the site, so we'll be able to get in and have access to everything there.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to close Trinity Methodist because of construction and open the Veterans Services Building for election. All in, excuse me, in favor? Aye. Motion passes. We are proceeding to Veterans Services. Thank you all for, going through that and looking at options.
Yes, agreed.
We decide we want it more.
Yeah.
We may decide the VA or the Veterans Services.
It is centrally located,
Mhm.
but I do think that when Trinity Methodist gets,
Yeah, that,
It's a good location.
they're gonna,
It is.
they're
It's a
gonna
good
have,
spot.
yeah.
I've been there on election day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
people come and go, it's easy to get in and out.
Yeah.
It is,
It's a good spot.
and
and,
it'll be,
and a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
it'll be a lot better parking too.
Oh, my
Yeah,
goodness.
well.
So I mean,
Yeah,
once it gets done,
yeah,
the parking lot will be so much better. for us and all of that. And they have very much always been a community service organization
Cool.
that church has. They welcome us with open arms, so that's never been an issue, with the facility.
Okay, well, thank you again. Election update, let's.
So,
what's happening.
the Cane Hill, special election in precincts 1 and 2, we do have an order, from the Supreme Court that we are not to release the results or, election night for that issue. The county have won their appeal. And so we will just like we do with issue 3, when we release our results, we will suppress those numbers, from the official results that we release. And then, of course, early voting has been going really well. Our numbers are up. We just have Friday, Saturday, and Monday, of course. For that, we do have 2 international election monitors who will be coming here today at 1, and one of the members of the State Board of Election Commissioners will be with them as well. So they're meeting me at 1, and they have full access to everything, so we'll just kind of show them around and
Cool.
let them see everything that we're doing.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah.
great.
So,
You said numbers are up in comparison to 4 years ago. Is that's the main comparison, last presidential election?
yes.
How much are they up? Like what percentage wise?
So-
Because I know the numbers are actually higher, but we have higher registered voters.
They are. So I have not run those, but Evelyn Rio Stafford has been, I saw in her Facebook post, she must do statistics because she was showing, and this is just from her post looking at our numbers. She was showing that our numbers are up 12%, but our growth was 6%. So that was a statistic that she showed. I have not done the math, but I know that was something that she had posted. We, right now, currently, we're at 40% of our total registered voters have early voted.
That's pretty good.
Um,
That's pretty good.
We
With
are.
3 days left.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's see, so. And then, of course. This time, last year, on, Thursday of last year, we were at 51,465 in 2020. So, we're 8,000 up from what we
Yeah.
saw in 2022.
2020.
I mean, 2020, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, so our numbers definitely, are better. And I
Good.
think we're gonna, end up with the largest
See,
number
yeah,
of them voting early.
right.
Cool.
We've had about 2,500 absentee ballot requests. We've gotten back close to 1,600 of those. A lot of those, I don't know that we're going to get back because I know that when that last day when you could request a mail-in ballot, Becky was sending them to New York, to all sorts of places
wow.
across the United
Yeah.
States, and the odds of them receiving their ballot and actually voting it and it making it back to the clerk's office is pretty small, I would think. So, yeah. So, but overall, everything is going well.
That's great.
So, yeah.
Cool. Good work.
Okay. Other business, do we have any other business? Okay.
On election day, if I could have at least one commissioner, okay, because we do have over 200 of the Yocava ballots
Right.
that we may have to recreate.
Oh, yes.
So it would be nice
Okay.
to have someone there that we can recreate and proof.
Get that process
Yeah,
going.
and have that, so we're not waiting until
Right.
5 that evening.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay,
So-
yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
No problem. And if there is no other business, we're adjourned.